Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Dr. Mark Di Pasquale from Adjusted Family Chiropractic in Melbourne, Australia, and today I'm bringing you dangerous discomfort. Should say dangerous comfort, rather, which is the health hazards of prolonged sitting. I suppose it becomes uncomfortable and there is discomfort when we are trying to make comfortable prolonged sitting, and whether it be work, whether it be at school, postures which are really not natural. So going through this document here, this is written up by the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress, and they have compiled the research in this, and I hope you and those close to you will benefit from this information, because it can make quite a significant change with regards to posture, comfort and health of our spine. And always remember, the reason why we need a healthy spine is so that it can protect our nervous system, our nerves, our spinal cord, our nerve roots, which is the communication pathways the brain uses to control the body. So would you rather have a job where you needed to stand or sit all day? Most of us would immediately say, sitting, please, assuming a job where we stood for all or most of the day would leave us exhausted and with aches and pains. A growing body of scientific and medical evidence, however, suggests just the opposite. Prolonged sitting, especially with poor posture, is more harmful to our neck, back, joints, and other areas of our neuromusculoskeletal system and overall physical and mental health than standing for most of the day. This is backed up by fossil records discovered early in the 21st century, indicating that the human body was not designed for prolonged sitting, whether in an office, on a couch, or driving a truck. Archaeologists studying ancient bones found that our hunter-gatherer human ancestors had high bone density compared to modern humans, weaker bones, which is believed to be associated with sedentary lifestyles. The health problems caused or influenced by lack of movement throughout the day affect far more than just our personal health. In fact, the most common cause of work absenteeism, disability, and overall worse health and higher healthcare costs can be linked to conditions associated with sedentary work environments. So prolonged sitting is more harmful to our neck, back, and joints than standing for most of the day. Those top contributors are neuromusculoskeletal conditions. Neck, back, and other types of joint pain are the top reasons an employee applies for disability compensation. Construction, nursing, warehouse, and other physically demanding jobs are certainly high risk for developing neuromusculoskeletal pain. However, it is important to note that sedentary office workers have among the highest incidence of these conditions as well. Another contributing factor is chronic diseases. The health risks associated with too much sitting are not limited to our bones, joints, and muscles, but rather extend to vital internal organs and their proper functioning. For example, chronic cardiovascular conditions, diabetes, and certain cancers are associated with highly sedentary jobs and tend to worsen the more we sit. Another contributor is mental health. Physical health is inextricably linked to our mental health, so it is understandable that people with chronic pain and other health problems would suffer from depression, anxiety, and other related challenges. Yet, independent of those conditions, prolonged sitting is associated with feeling worse emotionally, as well as poorer cognitive performance. Convert sitting desks to standing desks or take more frequent breaks to decrease sitting. Completely eliminating sitting in our daily lives, however, is neither feasible nor necessary. Health experts have determined that reducing our risk factors can be accomplished through more activity throughout the day, such as converting our sitting desks to standing desks or simply taking more frequent breaks so we do not sit for more than 3 hours a day. They also recommend consistent stretching to promote healthier muscles and joints, as well as at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. If you are already experiencing neck, back, or other types of joint pain, and you believe your sedentary lifestyle is a contributing factor, then visiting a doctor of chiropractic or a DC can be an excellent first step to long-term healthy and drug-free pain relief, well-being, and improved job performance. Office-based workers are at the highest risk for health problems due to prolonged sitting. So sitting health risk number 1, neuromusculoskeletal damage. Based on studies by the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, office-based workers appears to be at the highest risk for health problems due to prolonged sitting. These occupations typically require employees to spend 75% or more of their workday sitting, as high as 95% of the time for web developers. Neuromusculoskeletal injuries due to prolonged sitting, however, typically occur so gradually that we may not notice we have a problem before the pain becomes more intense or bothers us more often throughout the day. By then, the damage to our spine may require a lengthy rehabilitation program. What DCs and other experts have found is that the neck pain office workers experience is associated with our heads leaning forward while we use a computer. When our heads, which weigh around 11 pounds, which is about 4.5 kilos, lean forward only a few inches or centimeters, the resulting gravitational pull increases the strain on our upper spine, shifting it out of balance. To the upper vertebra, our head can feel like it weighs 60 pounds when tilted at a 60-degree angle, leading to neck and shoulder pain. Likewise, prolonged sitting also compresses spinal discs lower in the back, which over time can cause injury and back pain. Researchers performing MRI studies on people after just 4 hours of sitting and found that 2 lumbar discs associated with the low back pain decreased in height. In a similar observational study, prolonged sitting appeared to trigger unbalanced muscle contraction in the trunk region among those who developed low back pain, which intensified as pain developed. This indicates that our body's automatic response to the unbalanced stress to our spine can unfortunately lead to worse pain and more damage. Similarly, when more pressure is placed on our hips and pelvis, it causes the muscles to shorten, tighten, and compress the associated nerves, all of which can cause acute and/or chronic pain. Sitting health risk number 2, chronic conditions and shorter life. The scientific consensus against prolonged sitting reached a pinnacle in 2015 when a review of literature on the topic found people were 1.24 times more likely to die from all-cause mortality compared to less sedentary adults. Specifically, they were more likely to develop and die from cardiovascular disease or heart disease, as well as certain cancers, particularly breast, colon, colorectal, endometrial, and epithelial ovarian cancer. The highest health risk of prolonged sitting was acquired type 2 diabetes, which tends to occur twice as often in sitting jobs compared to more active occupations. The strong association between sitting and diabetes is likely due to the metabolism slowing effects of inactivity. As we burn fewer calories and our weight increases, the body cannot effectively lower the amount of sugar in our blood after snacks and meals, which many office workers may also eat sitting at their desks. Consistently, high blood sugar levels can damage our kidneys, heart, blood vessels, and other body parts, which means many people with diabetes are also prescribed medications to better metabolize blood sugar. If detected early enough, however, type 2 diabetes can be effectively controlled through weight reduction, diet, and lifestyle changes, such as introducing more physical activity into their daily lives. The poor posture associated with prolonged sitting can also restrict our breathing due to our weight being slumped forward on our chest and rib cage. Constricted breathing limits the amount of needed oxygen circulating through the body, forcing our lungs and heart to work harder than necessary all day long, leading to cardiovascular disease. Additionally, weaker blood flow from our hearts combined with other health risks can lead to a sudden health emergency called deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. A DVT is a blood clot in the leg, which is typically associated with extended periods of sitting during long distance travel. These potentially fatal blood clots, however, can also occur at home or the office without activity breaks to exercise leg muscles, heart, and lungs. Now we move on to sitting health risk number 3, mental and cognitive health decline. Chronic physical pain combined with debilitating health conditions take a toll on mental health, regardless of a person's job or the number of hours they sit every day. Conversely, someone with depression first appears to be more likely to develop back pain later. With this inextricable link between physical and mental health, positive steps taken to prevent the physical health problems caused by prolonged sitting will also likely reduce the risk of developing depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. In fact, a South Korean study found that participants who sat for 5 hours or less per day were only about half as likely to develop depression as those who sat for 10 or more hours a day. Anxiety, another common mental health condition, has been linked with excessive sitting as well. Recently, a review of scientific studies showed that in 5 of the 9 articles, an increase in sedentary behavior was associated with an increased risk of anxiety. 4 of the studies found that total sitting time specifically was associated with greater anxiety among participants. Our brain's cognitive abilities, however, also appear to be influenced by the number of hours we sit. Over 2 hours of seated computer work, participants in a laboratory study reported that discomfort increased in all areas of the body, while creative problem-solving errors increased, and their perceived mental state reportedly deteriorated over time. So those who sat for 5 hours or less per day were only about half as likely to develop depression. Anxiety has been linked with excessive sitting. So how to easily reduce sitting and increase daily activity? Fortunately, few people will need to quit their jobs in order to stand more throughout the day. Modifications to our workstations and daily routines can help decrease our sitting time while increasing our daily standing and physically active time, gradually so that it can become a long-term habit. It is also not necessary to spend all our time standing while at work. Recent research has shown that employees who alternate standing and sitting have a lower risk of developing back pain compared with only sitting or standing. To introduce more standing in the workday, numerous sit-stand desks are available across a wide range of prices, as well as equipment to add standing desk functionality to sitting-only desks. A 3-month study in Japan that converted sitting only to sit-stand desks found that employees reduced their risk and shoulder pain, improved their subjective health perception, and increased work-related engagement and self-rated work performance. Active chairs, which encourage movement while sitting, were also found to be more beneficial than static office chairs. However, potential still exists to engage in poor posture while seated in an active chair. Active chairs are not a replacement for standing. With or without new office furniture, standing and stretching or walking every 50 minutes at a minimum is essential. According to experts, more specifically, a 5-minute walk every 30 minutes is ideal. A study of middle-aged and older adults who took such breaks had better glucose and blood pressure test results than those who skipped the activity break. So a 5-minute walk every 30 minutes is ideal. During these breaks, as well as before and after work, simple stretches can help encourage a healthy posture while sitting and standing. Recommended stretches for sedentary jobs include wall crawl can be used. So start by standing facing the wall at about shoulder length distance. Then crawl your hands up the wall using your hand and fingers while keeping your arm against the wall. Crawl the hand as high up the wall as you can tolerate and repeat as needed. You may need to step or lean closer to the wall as your hand climbs higher. This is very similar to what we will give as a recommendation for the wall AHC exercise and also the doorway stretch. Very, very similar action to get the shoulders up and externally rotated. The shoulder roll. Begin with shrugging your shoulders and then push the shoulders forward before lowering and moving them backwards in a controlled rolling motion. This active stretch can be performed in a clockwise or counterclockwise motion, very similar to the doorway stretch that we recommend very, very often for those who sit and posture in compromised posture positions for long periods of time. Prone elbow raise. Start by lying face down on a mat or other padded surface with the non-stretching arm placed under your forehead. Put the other hand on the back of your head. Raise the elbow of the arm on the back of the head to the ceiling as far as tolerated and hold it there for 5 seconds. You can then lower the elbow and repeat. This exercise is very similar to the wall AHC exercise, often recommended. Even when sitting, our posture still matters. Slump sitting is associated with forward head leaning and strain on the upper spine, which can contribute to neck and shoulder pain. An appropriate office chair can help us maintain that posture while balancing other regions of the spine. An office chair should include features such as adequate lumbar support, encourages a healthy spine curve that balances our weight evenly while discouraging forward head leaning. Armrests can take pressure off the shoulders and neck. A footrest can help promote a 90-degree bend in the knees that is associated with a safer, healthier posture. A holistic approach to your health. While sitting appears to be as harmful to our health as smoking and junk food, it is still only one piece of a holistic health improvement and management plan that can help prevent the most common physical and mental health problems described here. For a complete picture, grounded in natural drug-free evidence-based approaches, doctors of chiropractic are a valuable resource. DCs are highly trained and experienced in determining the root causes of neuromusculoskeletal pain associated with a sedentary lifestyle and helping their patients find relief. DCs can also recommend adjustments to our work and home life to reduce sitting time and improve our posture, as well as changes to improve our sleep, diet, and stress management. All of these are associated with whole being care, which to optimize life and longevity. Here are the references used in this paper that we've discussed today. Once again, this was brought to us by the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress, especially the research done in the background. And I hope you found this paper beneficial. And if you would like more information on this topic, or if you have any questions, please contact me. Bye for now and have a healthier day.